have some games in the lower bracket that have happened as well, so we want to catch up on those as well, as you guys can take a look here and see. G2 Esports defeated Incognito 2-0. Fibion had defeated Wabi Sabi 2-1, but we do know as well that Renegades has taken out Splice 2-0, so unfortunately Splice is going to get knocked out of the event. Right now, though, Alex is actually upstairs with our teams at the losers bracket.
Yes, I am, and this is where the elimination matches are happening right now. As Kevin mentioned, as you saw in that bracket, we have already had some teams eliminated from this tournament. Most recently, Splice falling to Renegades 2-0. Now, we just saw G2 Omega here. They fell in their last game against Sizzle Your Cobb, but they're going to be awaiting the result of this next match, and we'll see if they can stay alive in the tournament. But I want to show you guys the rest of this area because it's pretty cool up here. So we're going to come this direction, and we got a bunch of fancy folks over here hanging out. Nice little couch and a ping pong area over here, and this is where the teams, they all hang out, have some food, catch up, and this is a really cool area in here. This is where the teams are actually practicing. We have a lot of stations, one per player, where every player can be comfortable and just play their game and get ready to go. And here they all are right here. Look, the Pashy's waving. How you doing, guys? You guys doing okay? Thumbs up. They're all so excited. Torment, I want to talk to you for a second, man. What do you think about this room? Is it cool to have a place to come back to and really prepare and focus on your games?
Yeah, it's definitely really important. You know, having a setup. I think there's one here for everybody. Obviously, very important to get warm-ups. I mean, other events I've been to, there's been like a setup for like each team or like just like a couple players. So this is definitely really good to have them warm up and stuff. Yeah, and tell me about that dynamic too, because I noticed when I was watching y'all earlier, you're scrimming against other teams here. So can you talk about that and how you're kind of interacting with the other players in this room? Well, we just kind of, I mean, find a scrim. It's usually easier if you just call, you can just call across the room instead of waiting for someone to answer a message.
Hey, Pashy, you 2v2 us right now? I think you said no. All
right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it makes it easier to find people to scrim, and because you know everybody's going to be in here and practicing already.
All right, we got Pashy's coming over here for a second. Pashy, we'll let you get a word in here, man. There's Pashy, how do you like it here, man? How do you like it in this room?
I think it's good. I'm just super tired right now, but we still have to play a game. So I should hopefully be awake in 30 minutes from now.
Yeah, man, get some rest, take a break. But this is the player area, and it's so awesome. This is available for the players, but we're going to go back downstairs right now. Good luck to all you guys. Thanks.
Bad luck, Alex. Asks for thumbs up from the players, gets one thumbs down from Pashy, and that's it. Wow, awesome. All right, well, we're actually going to get into our last of the round of 16 matches, of course, which we're going to preview the teams here momentarily. But we've had quite an interesting opening round to this tournament, so I'm hoping we're going to end on a really strong note with these two teams here. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ghost as well, as, you know, this is a team that I don't know too much about. I'm super interested to learn a little bit more about them. Of course, the team consists of Classics and Lethamir. They were recently picked up by Ghost. Leth is one of the highest twos players in ranked, but also an expert at 1v1s. Previously played for Denial, did very well in Season 3 of the RLCS. Classics, on the other hand, a player known for his skill and speed, but doesn't seem to have the consistency during LAN events. So hopefully he can use this tournament to build that skill a little bit for him. And of course, the other team is Method, and this is really a team that is Team Finland for a lot of reasons. Both the players are Finnish, young players again, 18 and 17. From the 1 year and 9 months that these players have been playing Rocket League so far, they've been teammates the entire time. So we talk about how much it's important to get to know your teammate and get to understand your teams in 2v2s, and they certainly will have that in spades. But it looks like we are finally ready to jump into the match now. So let's go ahead and kick things off and send it back up to our casters.
Yeah, game number one, gonna get straight underway. It's gonna be Ghost in blue and Method in orange. And this is going to be, I think, one of our closer matchups, James Bott, between these two squads. I'd say it's pretty even.
Yeah, even Jacob said it in his post-match interview. He thinks this is gonna be the closest first-round matchup.
We're about to find out as the first 10 seconds already gone in this game. Method looking to try to move it downfield. So far, just ping pong between these players. Downfield, Ghosts looking for an opportunity, but Classics and Lethamir just kind of rotating back and forth, each taking a pot shot at the ball. And same thing to say for Metzenaris and Magnus here.
Absolutely.
Method moving in. Metzenaris trying to get that ball towards the box. It's knocked away, and first 45 seconds, And you'll see this against teams that they know that the other team is really good. So now it's that feeling out process in the first minute and waiting to see what advantages they can find. And that might be one for Method, but it's cleared away by Classics. If they stay on this, it could be an opportunity, but it bounces up the sidewalk.
Yeah, but you see this, we call it ping-ponging back and forth, where each team just blasts it down. No one can really retain possession or make an attempt on net. And this usually happens early in game one, so we're just seeing this feeling out phase from both sides.
Another challenge. Ghost is not able to stay on the ball, and Method will try yet again. Getting it past one defender and just off to the corner. Here's Metzenaris. And challenged and knocked away. Magnus takes over. Maybe for Metzenaris, but he takes a wide turn and stays on this ball. Almost looking into the future there as he got set up for what looked like a pass from Ghost almost.
But Lethamyr just gave up possession of the ball. Neither one of these teams willing to take a risk.
Oh, a shot thrown down by Classics, looking for that dunk right on top of his car, and Lethamyr goes up. Lethamyr can't find that tap. Coming in support is Classics, and he cannot finish that one either. We are 2 minutes in. I'm not sure if we've had a single shot on net. That one goes in from Metzenaris, and it's 1-0.
Phenomenal ball control by Mets. This ball, look at, he just kills it and stops it right on his hood and flicks it perfectly into the upper right-hand corner of the net. Mets with a nasty shot.
Method takes the early 1-0 lead off of really one of the best placement shots you'll ever see.
And ball control. That ball was flying down from the ceiling, and he just stopped it right away.
On the side, Metzenaris getting a demo off. And I feel like as the tournament wanes on, you're seeing more and more physical play out of these teams. A shot heading down. Metzenaris gets the second goal, 2-0.
Mets is doing insane things right now. Look at that car control, air rolling back around and putting a shot on net. Mets is a monster.
Well, Metzenaris so far carrying Method through here. Magnus got the ball to him a few times, but Metzenaris is an absolutely insane player. This Method squad in general just stacked full of players. Now, Method still with control of this. Ghost has really struggled to get it out of their own end. Throwing it in is Metzenaris yet again. Bring up in support. Magnus. Floating down, might not have boost, but he wins the challenge. Can't get around the ball on the box. He absolutely does not have boost, as he's not able to get back to that, but wasting a lot of time. Another whole minute gone, and they're still up 2-0. Get it? No, he cannot.
Oh, that was a close chance. Double tap opportunity, but we really haven't seen Ghost spend hardly any time in Method's half. It has been all Method.
Magnus to Mets. Mets playing it by one defender. That's popped up, and Magnus pulls out of that. Classics had him beat by a mile. Lethamyr just going to let that one drop. Magnus was already up for it. Ghost going back and forth here. Still only down by 2, but time's still ticking down. 1:38 left to go. It's just been ball control and not throwing a lot of shots at net. That one just wide. Magnus trying to get that shot. It's challenged by Lethamyr, and in support is Classics on the wing. Teed up, here's Lethamyr. Lethamyr, the shot knocked away by Magnus.
And that was the first shot by Ghost. It took almost 4 minutes for them to even score or get a shot on net.
Falling down, can he find that? He cannot. Magnus slaps it away. Classics gonna take control from midfield. It just seems like they're trying to throw it towards the net, and either Classics or Lethamyr are rotating out. It's really not worked for them. And what we see really worked for this squad, that shot turned away, is really small ball. These passes in midfield or just 1-2-1 back and forth has really gotten these goals. And, I mean, Metzenaris did a nice solo play himself, but Ghost can't do it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, those two plays is what's setting them apart right now. They're shutting down all of Ghost's chances. But Ghost now, they're starting to come alive on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to swing their way, but all Method really has to do is kill time, and that's what they've been doing the whole game here. A very defensive battle here for Method, and that challenge knocked away as Method takes control in Ghost territory yet again. Time ticking down. You got to score with at least 10 seconds left. You're going to come back in game one. Just a slow, methodical shoot by just keeping the ball away from you the entire time. Ghost might find one here. He's wrapping, trying to get it around the defender. He can. It's knocked to the corner. Finding it towards the box. There's a goal as time hits 0. Lethamyr finds it, and feel good going into game 2.
Yeah, so this actually is very important, just mentally. Getting that goal, not getting shut out, so big for your mentality going into the next game. So Ghost, even though they got shut down for a majority of that game, they still get to walk away feeling a little good about themselves. But really, Mets was insane that game. Those shots were out of this world.
And they all came at the beginning of the game, and it didn't matter after that. Then you just saw Mets and ours didn't get overly aggressive. Okay, we have the 2-goal lead, so I'm just going to keep the ball away and then challenge where we need to. And those midfield challenges are always so crucial to either keep possession away or to maintain possession. And Mets and ours, we're going to see both these shots here. That's perfect place.
And what you don't even see on the replay is when he just captured that ball when it was falling from the ceiling. And then this play, using the air roll feature of your car to manipulate your car like that is so difficult, but still, that last second goal, that is something for Ghost to hang on to going into the next game.
It can really be something going into the next game. It can be a momentum swing. We've seen games where if they're up by 2 or they're up by 3, and then that one goal going into the next game, all of a sudden it's a flip.
Yep.
And the next team just takes over and dominates game 2. So I definitely, and Ghost, these two players, Classics and Lethamyr, they mentioned it in the studio. Lethamyr is one of the best ones players in the game. He's at the top of the leaderboards in 2s, and he can be that striker for this squad. And if he can get those shots on net, that's the thing, is they didn't have those opportunities.
Yeah, it took them almost 4 minutes to even get a shot on net. Their offense was really just getting shut down by Method. But even, like you said, Method, they didn't really have the passing plays to get those goals. It was just those fantastic individual plays. So Ghost can get right back in this one. Classics, he has been shown to have a little bit of LAN jitters at these live events, but if he can get over that, they can still make this happen and stay alive in the upper bracket.
We'll see if Ghost has worked out the kinks as they work to force game number 3 against this Method squad. We are underway yet again. The ball in midfield. Ghost looking to take control. It is high off the corner. The shot knocked away by Magnus, and they can't finish. That's an opportunity, but that's just great goaltending by Magnus.
That was good goaltending, but Classics, if he would have just been a little bit more patient, he might have been able to finish off that rebound.
Back around, Ghost is going to go for another opportunity here off the corner. Challenged and knocked away by Magnus, who's just going to play with it in the corner and roll it out slowly. Bullying away Classics on that play. Here's Mets. I cleared away that ball headed towards the net. That's not the most elegant touch, but he's able to stay with it and get it off to the corner.
Oh, and you can see Classics in the mid there. He just had a little bit of indecision instead of attacking that ball, so you can still tell he's got a little bit of the jitters. And
the jitters, plus when you know that Magnus or Mets and ours are there to challenge you every time you try to do something with the ball, it can make you hesitant because they just seem to be there. They seem to be everywhere on the field, and there's only 2 of them. And maybe we need to see some of that physical play. But Ghosts, the scoreline still at 0. It's definitely different from game number 1 where we saw Mets and ours score early for Method. Magnus is taking it in the offensive corner, looking for Mets, and that's challenged away. That could be 2v1 opportunity, but booming it downfield, and it was a laser on the ground, knocked away by Magnus. Still on the corner. Lethamyr trying to throw it off to the center. Classics does get a demo on a guy who's kind of out of rotation, but maybe going downfield, and he's able to make the save. Still midfield, about 2 minutes gone in this game. It's still 0-0. The Ghost just looks like, do you feel like they're just trying to match the pace of Method right now?
They really just can't get each other involved in the game. They're just approaching the ball on a just ball-by-ball basis. They're not really thinking far beyond that. So I want to see them make those passing plays that we see C9 do, that we saw Flipside do. They need to start using each other instead of just mindlessly hitting the ball.
Metzenar is trying to flip it over. Lethamyr there, he can't find it. It's going to be up to Classics to try to challenge and clear this ball away. Lethamyr taking point on the wing as Classics throws up the ball, but he just throws it into the defender. Yeah, they're just not looking for each other.
That was an opportunity for him to flick that across the field to Lethamyr, but he just shot it right into the defense where they had an easy save.
Metzenar makes another save there off the corner. That was a shot by Classics as he scores first. Ghost goes up 1-0.
That looked like a pinch right there. You can see Mets trying to challenge it, and they both just smack it. And that one's going to sneak in. That was so close, bouncing off that far cross or that far post. And now Ghost with the 1-0 lead.
challenges over in that offensive third on the sidewall can get you exactly what we just witnessed there. So crucial to challenge and be offensive, and Magnus gonna take a quick pass from Metz to tie it 1-1.
Just seconds later, Metz blast that one into the middle. You see, that's a chance. He could have taken a shot on net, but no. Metz launched that across the field for Magnus, and Magnus just launched it into the upper part of the net.
And then we saw Metz and Norris with really 2 solo efforts in game 1, and that time opting for Magnus, I think probably one of the fastest passes I've ever seen. Metz and Norris not able to find that in less than 2 minutes left to go now. Ghost. This was in a tie game, which is much more favorable than what they were down in game number 1. Lethemir finding the save and dumping it downfield, and I feel like it's the same old song and dance every time Ghost gets the ball.
They're too quick to give up possession. They, instead of trying to slow down the play, because they have the space in this 2v2 environment, they can slow it down, but they're not doing that. They're just giving away possession, hitting it right back down the field, like right there.
Can't wait on the challenge either from Magnus. Thrown downfield. Magnus comes back in. Time still ticking down. It is a tie game. Looking now for a passing play. He tees it up high. Coming up is one tap. Can he find the second one? He shoots it, but it's saved by Metz and Norris, and Method clears it downfield. It's a little bit of a 1v1, but they're racing, and it's knocked to the corner by Ghost. Trying to clear this one out. This is dangerous. Magnus takes the shot to goal, 2-1.
He was so fast getting up in the air. Look how quickly he jumps up to get this. Leth tries to get the clear. Metz got a touch on it, and Magnus just beats Leth out by a split second. And Magnus again, just a blistering shot into the net.
We see Ghost starting to go for some team plays, and that might be what exactly they need in this last minute to tie this game up. And if they don't, well, they have a nice trip to the losers bracket. That shot is not gonna be close to the net. Classics got bumped on his way up, and Metzenar is gonna try to play it away and make Ghost work end to end. But Ghost somehow able to hit that ball away. Magnus got obliterated, and just throwing it against the corner, where you feel like, again, maybe, okay, it's a 2v1 situation, maybe try to carry it down off the sidewall instead of moving it across the corner.
It could be that what Ghost is trying to do is just throw the ball at Method and see if they make a mistake. But if they don't make a mistake, you're really not going to generate any opportunities for yourself. So it's a common tactic in 1v1s, but that's going to be
there's a pick. Magnus gets him in. That's just a nice read by Magnus, knowing that there's a little space there. He's right there the whole time.
And you saw both classes, it seemed like they were choreographed there, both going for the same ball, both side flipping, and both missing. That left the net wide open for Magnus to come in, and now that's a hat trick for him.
And double commits like that, they're just not really known to happen by these players. And you mentioned it before, that maybe there's those jitters by at least both these players, those communication issues where you're just kind of getting into your own head. And I think that's really what kind of was Ghosts. They were the own worst enemy during this series. And Method just had an absolute stellar performance in this series, taking it 2-0 and moving on in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, and both Metz and Magnus had breakout performances. You see there, Magnus with that hat trick, but in game number 1, Metz had those nutty shots off the backboard, the control, the flick into the net. So these Finnish players really proving that they belong, taking it over Ghost 2-0. So looking at the highlights of the game.
All right, guys, well, we'll take a look at some of the highlights here from game number 2. Of course, as Method does end up taking out Ghost. And, you know, this was a pretty systematic performance. This was something where they never gave up. I know they gave the first goal in game 2, but they immediately answered. They were ahead of the pace of the play. They were controlling the ball most of the time. Looked like they were just a little bit better than their opponents here.
Yeah, it took a word right out of my mouth. I mean, it was just a matter of Ghost really struggling to ever kind of develop any type of control, and they looked like they didn't have so much of a game plan. James really saying it over on the casting desk. I mean, it seemed like they kind of wanted to wait for Method to make a mistake, which is a valid strategy, but
sure.
I mean, like he said it, if they don't really make the mistakes, and it didn't look like they were making many at all, I mean, nothing's going to happen.
No, absolutely right. Although more, I want to give a shout out to like the 20 people who showed up in Ghost shirts as well. Hats off to you guys. Congratulations. Glad to see a little bit of local fan base support here. Wave, let's get your thoughts on this one as well. What did you see from Method, and do you think these guys might even be a serious threat to win a couple more rounds?
I think they were definitely the favorite. They were definitely the best team here, those two teams that played, and I thought they played very well. I thought Ghosts just didn't quite have it all together. They seemed to struggle to get into get good, meaningful offensive opportunities in any really good situation. But I think they're running into Sizzle Your Cobb next, and again, all my eggs in the Sizzle Your Cobb basket right now. So
I love it. And until they lose, I think you got something there. All right, guys. Well, it looks like Alex is actually standing by right now with our winners.
Yes, I am. I'm here with Method, and their story is incredibly awesome because they're coming all the way from Finland. It's their first time in the United States, so pretty cool that they can get a victory there in their first round. So Magnus, yeah, there's some. I like that. This crowd is awesome. All right, let's start with Magnus up here. First of all, welcome to America, guys. You guys are doing great. Talk to me about that first match, especially coming all the way from Finland and having to make sure you're there mentally to take that properly. So can you talk about that, the challenges there and your mentality going into that first match?
I mean, I thought that was the hardest matchup of all the teams that first round. So we were kind of practicing like over 5 hours almost. So we were prepared at least. But otherwise, we were mentally prepared.
Yeah, you guys seem super smooth with the nice 2-0 victory there. And now you're moving on to play Sizzle Your Cobb, who have been looking pretty good lately. So, Mets, I want to get your thoughts on this team, Jacob and Sizz. What are your expectations? What do you think of that team right now?
They can be really strong, but they can also not be that strong. So we'll have to play our best.
Now, you're one of the teams coming from Europe when you consider Flipside, Market, and Galeforce. And a lot of people are considering you guys number 4, more or less, of that grouping. What do you think about that, or where do you think you guys place among that European grouping, and how are you afraid of either of those teams, or do you think you're the best?
Any one of these 2v2 teams here from EU can beat like any one of them. So everyone's on the same line, in my opinion.
And that's awesome. It's been a ton of fun to watch you guys play. Best of luck moving forward. That's Method advancing to the next round of the Universal Open.
All right, well, let's take a look at the bracket here as we know the 8 teams that are moving into the quarterfinals of the upper bracket. Ambition Esports versus Galeforce Esports, that'll be our first quarterfinal. Then DapG versus Mocket Esports, Cloud9 versus Flipside Tactics, and of course Sizzle Your Cobb versus Method. As we mentioned before, though, everyone, this is a double elimination tournament, which means all of the teams that we have seen drop here in this first round, they're not out of the event 100% yet until they've lost in the lower bracket too. But I want to ask you guys, now that we've been through the round of 16, you've gotten a chance to see every team that came here today. Are you modifying your predictions a little bit? Do you think that the landscape is a bit different than what you expected coming in here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all the EU teams, for the most part, a little bit lacking in what the pressure I thought they were going to bring. I don't know, again, if that's being tired due to travel or what. I mean, I expected a much more dominant performance, and we've seen NA slowly start to close the gap, but I didn't expect it to be like this. And Cloud9 really looking to cement that #1 spot for me.
Hashtag close the gap. All right, there we go in every esport. Hey, what about you, Wave? What do you think about this?
The biggest change so far, I think, in everybody's bracket is going to be Ambition over G2. Ambition definitely making a name for themselves, making it into top 8 here in the winners bracket and going up against Galeforce Esports, who we talked about, like you said, the EU teams not being as dominant as we were hoping for them. Who knows? Maybe they could do it again. Still best of 3s here at the quarterfinals.
Fair enough. Does the Cloud9 train stop on the tracks at any point here? Or given the top 8 teams that we've seen, who poses the biggest threat to them?
Really, I'm going to have to go with, I think, Method actually seemed very good. I think that the pressure that Method was putting on, they're playing so incredibly patient and really methodical. You described them as systematic play, and that was the exact phrase I had in my head. Such a good job, and I think them and Flipside are really going to be the best teams to kind of take apart this Cloud9 team.
Fair enough. Same thoughts for you, Wave, or do you see any other potential competitors to that Cloud9 train?
I mean, Sizzle Your Cobb.
That's true. The eggs are in that basket.
I want to see C9 Sizzle Your Cobb. That would be my favorite matchup of the tournament.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take one little last look at the bracket so we can see which teams are going to be moving into the quarterfinals. As we have it, Ambition Esports versus Gale Force Esports, DapG versus Mockit Esports, Cloud9 versus Flipside Tactics, and Sizzle Your Cob versus Method. All right, everyone, we are going to head to a quick little break, and as soon as we get back, we're going to move into the quarterfinals of the Universal Open Rocket League Grand Finals here in Santa Ana, California.